Alright, in this video we're going to talk about some genetics puzzles. And we're going to start with number 1. In number 1, you're given some information. You're asked to do a few things. First, we are looking at earwax. Yay. And with earwax, you have two types, wet and dry. Wet is dominant to dry. And we're going to assign letters. W seems like a good letter to assign. And dominant gets the capital version of the letter, while recessive gets the lowercase letters. So wet, dry alleles for that particular trait. Now we're given some information. We're told that mom has wet earwax. Alright, and that dad has dry earwax. Okay. Now the first thing you probably or should be able to gather from this is that dad only has a single possible genotype. He has dry earwax. That's recessive trait. What are the only possible set of alleles that will get you recessive? Dry. These two. So right off the bat, I know that dad has dry earwax, which is two little W's. Nothing else will work. One of those is a capital W. He's now expressing the dominant trait, then we know he's not, because that's what we're told. Now, we're told that mom is one of the two possible combinations. They don't tell us if she's homozygous or heterozygous. Both will express wet earwax, which is the dominant trait. So, you're told to make two Punnett squares. And the first one, you're assuming that mom is a homozygous dominant, two capital W's. Okay, that's not a problem. And then you make your cross. I assume that at this point you know how to make the cross, so I'm going to skip to that really quickly. Alright, so that is my first cross. Homozygous recessive dad, dry earwax. Homozygous dominant mom, pure dominant, dry earwax. Each square represents a 25% chance. And now it says in the first cross, what was the chance that the child will have wet earwax? %. They're all expressing the dominant trait. They're all heterozygotes, but that still means they're expressing the dominant trait. It just means they're not pure dominant. So 100% for the first part. Now you need to do your second cross. So the second cross, you're assuming that mom, instead of being a big W, is a big W, little w. That's going to change a few things. Not in the top row. That's going to stay the same. But in the bottom row, both of these go from big W's to little w's. Because now on the bottom, both mom and dad are contributing just little w's. On the top, mom is still contributing one of her big W's. So, in the second cross, what is the chance that the child will have wet earwax? %. The bottom two. These are still heterozygotes, so the capital W will mask the little w. These are going to be wet. Well, I'm sorry, these are the ones we're looking for. So these are going to be the 50% wet, but you also have a 50% chance now for dry at the bottom, with both mom and dad contributing the recessive dry allele. Question 3 says the couple's first child had dry earwax. What does it tell you about the mom's genotype? That mom was this. She was a heterozygote. If mom was homozygous dominant, then every single child would have had wet earwax, making dry an impossibility. But we know that they just told us that the couple's first child had dry earwax, which means the only way possible is that for mom to be big W, little w, and then and only then you have that 50% chance to get us dry earwax. Questions? Alright, number 2, we have this awesome pedigree in front of us. It's okay. And we were asked certain questions about it. The first one is, how many males in a family? Well, that's easy. Males are squares. Just count up all your squares. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me double check again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, 7. Almost missed him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay, 7 males. That should be an easy one. Second one part says how many females in a family. Now count all the circles, because circles represent females. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 females. Count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 females in a family. So 7 males, 6 females in this extended pedigree tree. Third part. How many individuals express the trait in the family? Now, there are a lot of ways to look at this problem, kind of try to figure it out. If you look up here, it's very unlikely that if this trait was dominant, even if this parent was a heterozygote, that none of the children would have it. But possible, it's possible. The one that really gives it away is down here, during this 3rd to 4th generation cross. Neither parents are expressing it, yet half the children are expressing it. That would never be the case with dominant. It's literally impossible. So that means that you have a recessive trait. Both parents here are carriers. They're probably heterozygous themselves, which means they're not expressing a chance to pass down that trait. So if we were to assign random letters, let's say X, that means if this parent is big X, little x, this parent is big X, little x, when you do your Punnett square cross, you will see that they would have a small 25% chance, but still a chance of passing down the recessive traits. In this case, you just had a higher than likely chance. But if this was a dominant trait and none of these are expressing, no way that you would have kids expressing here. It's simply genetically impossible. So right here is the catch. It's a recessive trait. The parents aren't expressing it, but they are carriers, and when you cross, and this has to be their genotype. You can't have one carrier and not the other. So they're both carriers, and if you cross them, you would have that 25% chance one of the boxes will have the 2 recessive traits. Questions? Last bit. In the children on the very bottom pedigree, half have the trait, half do not. Both parents do not have the trait. How is this possible? Explain below. Well, I just answered in the previous question. Yay, me. There we go. That's the only way that's possible. So that's how. And that's the only way it would work. Questions? All right, number 3. It says in humans, brown eyes, capital B, are dominant over blue. So in humans, big B is dominant to little b. Fair enough. So brown over blue. A brown-eyed man marries a blue-eyed woman, and they have 3 children. Okay? 2 are brown-eyed, and 1 of them is blue-eyed. Draw a Punnett square that illustrates the combination. All right, so let's see if we can make this work. So we know that the woman is blue-eyed, and blue-eyed is recessive. What is the only possible combination of alleles that will get us a recessive possibility for the woman? Two little b's. Nothing else will work. It's recessive, so they both have to be little b's. Now the man is dominant. He's brown, which means he can have one of the 2 possible ways he could go. 2 big B's or a big B and a little b. You don't know. But look at the children. One of the children is blue-eyed. If the man was this, would there be a chance for a blue-eyed child here? There would not be a chance. Not at all, not possible. Because if this was the case and you made this cross, every single combination would be this, without exception. And in this case, there is no blue-eyed child. They're all brown-eyed. They're all heterozygous, but they're all brown-eyed. So we need a possibility. We know mom has to be two little b's. That means dad has to be a heterozygote himself. So we replace the big B with a little b right there. And what that does for us is changes the Punnett square in such a way where you now have a 50% chance of having a blue-eyed child. Right here. And right here, because now that is contributing little b's, that would be your new Punnett square cross. 50% chance for blue-eyed. In the other case, it was all brown-eyed, so this is the only way it'll work. So the woman's genotype, we answered that. The man's genotype, that's the only way. The man's phenotype, brown in either case. What are the genotypes of the children? Well, we already have the cross in front of us, so it should be pretty easy. We know that the only possible combination for the parents are the pure homozygous mom and the homozygote, the heterozygote dad with having the big B and a little b. And due to that, their cross was 50% chance for heterozygote child, big B, little b, or 50% chance for a homozygous child, little b. They tell us that they have 3 children, 2 are brown-eyed, and 1 of them is blue-eyed. Well, if they're brown-eyed, that's their genotype, big B, little b. And if they're blue-eyed, that's their genotype. So the 2 children who are brown-eyed, they're both big B, little b. That's the only thing they can be. And the blue-eyed child has to be little b, because once again, that's the only thing they can be. They don't have a choice in the matter. And last question is, if the couple had a 4th child, what would be the most likely phenotype of that child? The most likely genotype of that child? Well, it's 50-50. So 50-50 chance for blue or brown, and 50-50 chance of big B, little b, or little b. So that is the answer for that. So literally a coin toss whether the child will be blue-eyed or brown-eyed. And if they're blue-eyed, they'll be homozygous recessive, of course. And if they're brown-eyed, they will be a heterozygote, just like dad. Questions on number 3? All right. So number 4, in cats, long hair is recessive to short hair. So short hair is dominant, long hair is recessive. The first thing you want to do is choose a set of letters. And this is what I chose. Big S, little s. Oops. This is for short hair. This is for long hair. If you chose a different set of letters, it'll work. Probably. It's going to look a little different from mine, but this is just the most convenient set in my opinion. All right. We're told that a true breeding homozygous short-haired male, and short hair being dominant and homozygous being the 2 same letters, we don't have to go any further. What's the genotype of the dad? 2 big S's. He's homozygous, dominant, which is in this case short-haired. So there you go. And they're mated to, or he's mated to a long-haired female. Well, this is a super easy problem. What is the only possible genotype that will give you long hair? Little s, little s. That's the only thing that'll work. So now you just need to cross them, and I'm not going to go through the entire cross, but can you guess what every single kitten is going to look like? that every single box will have one big S from Papa Cat and one little S from Mama Cat. They're all going to be heterozygous, all expressing the dominant trait, which is short hair. Questions? Number 5. Back to cats. Yay. 2 cats are mated. One of the parent cats is a long-haired, so that's the recessive allele. The litter, which results, contains 2 short-haired and 3 long-haired kittens. What does the second parent look like, and what is its genotype? Well, we know one of the parents is going to have the long-haired recessive allele. What's the only possible letter combination that'll give us the recessive long-haired? 2 little letters. In this my case, 2 little S's. Doesn't matter which parent you assign them to. No, they weren't really specific about male and female, so I'm just going to randomly assign it to the father. Makes no difference to them, makes no difference to me. Now we don't know what the second parent is, but we do know that the litter contains both short-haired and long-haired cats. Now, if the other parent was this, would that be possible to have both short-haired and long-haired in the litter? No, because if you cross these two, everything you would get is this. Short hair. No room for long hair. And we know we have long-haired cats in the litter. Long-haired kittens, cute little kittens that have short hair. Long hair. Which means that can't work. So, can it be this though? Can the second parent be this? No, because then every single kitten would look like that. There. And that means every single kitten will have long hair. And we know that's not the case. It's a mix of the two. Which means the only possible way that it'll work is if one parent is a heterozygote, which means one parent will be short-haired carrier. And if you were to cross this, half the children, the bottom set would be a little s, the top set would be big S, little s, and literally would give you a 50-50 chance for having either short or long-haired kittens. Questions? Thank you very much.